Kenya, oh Kenya, my country, my motherland, my nest where I rest. Why me? Why me? AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. Why do you take everyone, my mother and my brother? But you'll not have me. I'm safe at Nyumbani.
The world is witnessing one of the worst tragedies in the history of the human race as the HIV and AIDS pandemic continues to grow and claim the lives of millions of people. No other place is this devastation more real than in sub-Saharan Africa, home to 2/3 of all those who are HIV positive. In Kenya, over 2 million people, including nearly 170,000 children, are HIV positive, and more than 1.3 million Kenyan children have been orphaned. Many children are born HIV positive. Due to the stigma of HIV, poverty and ignorance, many of these children are rejected and abandoned by their families. Living in poverty, these children are being forced to raise themselves. They lack access to clean water, adequate nutrition, housing, education, and health care. Many live on the street, experiencing abuse, violence, and exploitation. Welcome to Nyumbani. Located 30 minutes outside of Nairobi, Kenya, Nyumbani means home in Swahili. It was founded in 1992 by the late Father Angelo D'Agostino with the help of Sister Mary Owens. He saw that no facility was willing to take in abandoned or orphaned children who had been infected with the HIV virus, so he started his own orphanage with 3 HIV-positive children. Nyumbani Children's Home was the very first orphanage of its kind in all of Kenya. It has become a model for care of HIV children who are orphaned or abandoned. Protas Lumiti has worked at Nyumbani Children's Home since 1993.
The whole mission of Nyumbani is to provide quality, comprehensive care and support for children who are infected by HIV.
Today, over 100 children live and prosper at the Children's Home. They all have one thing in common. They are all HIV positive.
Most of these children have come to us because they were abandoned, some just left on the side of the road, some abandoned by the families who couldn't or wouldn't take care of them after their parents had died.
This is Reagan. He and his sister Priscilla were brought to Nyumbani by Sister Mary when she found them living on a garbage dump. They took care of their mother in the slums of Nairobi until she died of AIDS. They are examples of the kinds of tragedies from which these children are rescued. These children are incapable of fighting HIV on their own, and without assistance, death is inevitable.
When Father D'Agostino began this facility, it was basically a hospice where these children can come with comfort care, die within the dignity of caring. But then we realized that as the children came in and got good nutritional care, good medical care, good loving and caring people who are reaching out to them, they started thriving.
The children's survival depends on life-saving antiretroviral drugs, commonly known as ARVs, which must be taken daily.
On average, many of the children will take an average of 9 tablets per day. They take very early in the morning at 6. As they wake up, the first thing they put in their stomach is medicine. Then they have their breakfast, and then they go to school. When they come back from school, before anything else at 6, before supper, medicine. And then they have their supper, and then they sleep.
Nyumbani started its own medical diagnostics laboratory to closely monitor the children's health and HIV levels, and now provides specialized HIV testing and counseling services to the community. Today, the children of Nyumbani look healthy and happy. They still live with HIV, but have to be careful. Even a mild cold can turn into something much more severe. Many children at Nyumbani do not know who or where their families are.
But I remember my parents' name, but I've never seen them.
I remember my mother's name, but I have never seen her.
Your father? Do you know your father?
My father, I don't know.
Do you know if you have any sisters or brothers?
I have one sister and one brother.
And where are they?
I don't know.
Nyumbani creates a much-needed, secure family atmosphere for the children who live in cottages with 2 house mothers or house uncles. Cottage D is run by Mom Terry, who has worked at Nimbani since 1996, and Mom Grace.
These children have come from different places. They were badly damaged, although spiritually. But when you come here, they are made to forget their past. They are provided with everything, and they live a happy life.
Incredible bonds form between the children and their house parents, and the love goes both ways. For many, this is the first family they have ever known. Like all children, they love to laugh and play, singing and dancing, and displaying their many talents. Children at Nimbani are treated like any other children. They do their daily chores, they help with meals, they clean their cottage and take care of the younger ones. And they do their homework. The children know that education is one of the few privileges they have in their lives. On school days, the younger children attend classes at Nimbani's own preschool. The older children get on the bus to attend public schools in the area. In a landmark decision in 2004, Father D'Agostino won a lawsuit to allow HIV-positive children to attend public school. The children of Nimbani now receive the same educational opportunities as other Kenyan children. The children proudly talk about what grades they are in and the schools they attend.
My name is Tamar. I am 8 years old. My school is currently. I am in class 3 and my school is Jamhuri.
Although the children look and feel healthy, Sammy is a heartbreaking reminder that they still live with a deadly disease. Sammy became resistant to the highest level of ARVs available to the children at Nimbani.
Sammy K, this child was so good, so active.
Despite all efforts, he wasted away. Sammy would have had a fighting chance if newer ARVs that are available in Western countries had been available in Kenya. Nimbani is working hard to get access to these drugs to prevent another death like Sammy's in the future. Fortunately, most of the children at Nimbani can prepare for a future in which they have goals and dreams.
5 years ago, the aspect of them dreaming of the future was not there. Because they saw life as so short. They experienced death every month, But when we had the antiretroviral drugs, now they're looking at life in the long-term range.
When I grow up, I would like to be a manager.
When I grow up, I want to become a musician or actress.
Our goal is reintegration, that all of our children one day will be citizens of Kenya, will be out there, will be productive citizens. They'll make a difference. Maybe one day, one of our children will be president of Kenya. Maybe they'll be executives in big businesses or doctors or lawyers or nurses. But we just hope and pray that they will give back to society the way society has given to them.
The children at Nimbani are the lucky few. Most children are not as fortunate to escape the lives they did not ask for, nor do they deserve. They live in deplorable conditions in communities that struggle to care for them. This is Kibera. Surrounding Nairobi, Kibera is the second largest slum in all of sub-Saharan Africa, home to over 1 million people crowded in a 5 square mile area, living far below the poverty line. With a population density 10 times greater than New York City, residents live in small shacks of mud and corrugated metal with no electricity, plumbing, sewage, or garbage collection. Meet Mercy. She is infected with HIV and is constantly sick. Mercy took in this 2-year-old orphan girl and her sister after their mother died of AIDS. Mercy has already lost her husband and one of her own children to AIDS. She has 4 other children, the youngest of which is also HIV positive. In 1998, Father D'Agostino and Sister Mary started Lea Toto, which in Swahili means to raise a child. Lea Toto is a community outreach program based in the Nairobi slums, which provides home-based services that help families like Mercy's who have been affected by HIV. Lea Toto's main services include basic medical care, family counseling, improved nutrition, HIV testing and education, and the provision of life-saving ARVs. This allows HIV-positive children to remain with their families and caregivers. It creates a sense of community responsibility for those affected by HIV and AIDS.
We moved into community-based care because we believed in it. And we believed that a child is best brought up in a family context as far as possible.
It has delivered services to thousands of HIV-positive children and has touched the lives of over 15,000 family members. Lea Toto takes care of more HIV-positive children in Kenya than the total number of children living with HIV in the entire United States. Unlike any other time in history, the HIV pandemic is wiping out an entire generation of adults. Not only are millions of children being orphaned, but the elderly, who were counting on their adult children to care for them, are now burying them instead. The extended family, once such a vital part of African culture, is slowly eroding. Father D'Agostino realized that both groups, children and grandparents, need protection and support. Welcome to the Nyumbani village. In 2005, the village was built 100 miles east of Nairobi in Kitui. Once an arid wasteland, the community is now a thriving farm and village on its way to self-sufficiency. Here, children orphaned by AIDS can live in a safe place under the guidance and watchful eye of grandparents who have lost their own children to AIDS.
We also knew that the grandparents were another lost generation, just like the children are a lost generation. So we felt if we could combine the grandparent generation with the children, that the grandparents could hand on values, traditions, the culture, and give guidance as regards to behaviour.
Ed is a volunteer from the United States who spent several months working at Nyumbani village.
It is all about the children that have problems, that are double orphaned, that come here and now have security, have a home, have food, have great education. It's a village of, right now, a number of different housing settings. Houses which would have 8 to 10 children and 1 grandparent. So the grandmother might be the blood grandmother to some of those children, but the rest are blended families.
The goal of the village is to be self-sustaining and eco-friendly. It has its own school, farm, medical clinic, polytechnic school, community center, and agriculture, poultry, and reforestation projects. The grandmothers pitch in by weaving baskets and producing other crafts that generate additional income and build greater self-sufficiency. One of the most important elements of the village is its school. As children mourn the loss of their parents, education helps to provide some of the hope they so desperately need. They understand that they are being given the tools for a better future, and they take nothing for granted.
The dream of Nyumbani is to continue to grow, and that this village could be a model for sub-Saharan Africa, for East Africa.
We will never stop the HIV and AIDS crisis anywhere if we don't work to stop it everywhere. Nyumbani is part of the solution. Its oldest graduate is living on his own and working in Nairobi. These children are the promise of the future and are changing the attitude and stigma associated with what it means to live with HIV in sub-Saharan Africa. There is much hope, but there is also much need. Resources are limited. To continue its mission, the children and grandparents Nimbani serves need your help. Nimbani relies on the generosity of donors to care for and get them on the road to self-sufficiency.
When you listen to their stories and their backgrounds, you are moved to do something. And indeed, when visitors come in and I tell them what the children have gone through, they don't hesitate to help. And that's why it has become a very beautiful program.
We invite you to help us in our mission. Sponsor a child, make a donation, provide needed supplies, volunteer, and help fight HIV and AIDS by helping these lost generations become productive and contributing members of society. Visit us at www.nimbani.org and get involved.